have to sit down and do it now, would you say?
I can recreate what happened at that time. That's what we had at that time. Correct.
Well, what you had at that time was never rendered into a written reportable form, was it, Mr. Henderson?
Not in one form, no, sir.
So the canvassing board didn't canvass the election.
Canvassing board canvassed the election and certified.
It didn't do what it's required to do, did it, Mr.
As
Henderson?
far as I know, procedures were followed correctly and legally.
Now, when Mr. Lewis Irby, asked for a copy of the absentee ballot records prior to the election, you told him you didn't have one, didn't you?
We had a absentee ballot record starting Friday after absentee ballot voting began and every day thereafter.
You didn't provide it to Mr. Lewis Irby when he asked you for it, did you?
Mr. Lewis Irby got it twice, I believe, at least twice.
He asked you for it on one or more occasions, and you didn't provide it to him. Isn't that correct?
I don't recall that. I've given it to him, like I said, more than once.
More than once before the election was over or after the election was over?
During the election.
There was an occasion when Mr. Irby asked you for the absentee ballot records, and you told him you either didn't have them or couldn't give them to him. Isn't that true?
I don't recall that being the case, no, sir.
Okay. When Mr. Mike Canny asked you for a copy of absentee ballot records prior to the election or during the election, you said you didn't have one, didn't you?
I don't even remember if Mike Canny ever asked me for
Did anyone, including Mr. Watson, instruct you not to provide these records
No,
to
sir.
Mr. Irby or to Mr. Canny?
it. No, sir.
Now, let me show you what is Plaintiff's Exhibit 3. And it purports to be an advertisement. Notice, did you vote absentee? Have I got that right?
Appears to be the words at the top of this document.
Would you examine that document, please? Okay. Have you seen that before?
I have not seen this before. I've not seen it. I know I've heard of it, but I've not seen it.
Okay. So you had nothing to do with preparing that document
No, sir.
and nothing to do with the decision to advertise it?
No, sir.
Okay. You sent out a special voting notice or reminder to some of the voters who vote or who are eligible to vote at the fire station voting precinct, didn't you?
We sent out a notice to every person precinct 03D1 because their registration card says vote at the rec center. So every year we send that out to make sure that you're supposed to vote at the fire station. Yes, we did.
And I think you've got that list.
Yes, sir.
And you sent the notice to every voter on that list.
Yes, sir. We mail it to every name on that list.
When did you mail it?
I do not recall exactly prior to the election.
Clovis Watson was actively participating in James Lewis's campaign, wasn't he?
Not to my knowledge.
In terms of the, going back to the subject matter before, in terms of the notices that you sent out to those voters who voted at the fire station, were any returned undeliverable?
There may have been, yes.
where they would be?
If we still have them, I could probably produce them. I don't know where to look right now.
Did you have an occasion to visit the function in downtown of Alachua on about April 9, 2006, the Alachua Festival, or whatever it's called?
No, sir.
So you had no occasion to visit the James Lewis campaign booth that he set up somewhere in the city of Alachua?
No, sir.
You served as the City of Alachua election official during the canvassing board on the evening of April 11, 2006, did you?
If I understand, election official, yes.
And what was your function?
My function was to provide to the canvassing board the results of the precincts, results of the absentee ballots, and provide them with anything else that they might require to fully discharge their duties.
And what documents, logs, lists, reports, and the like did you or some member of your staff under your instruction provide?
Absentee ballot list, the results of the precincts, we email, we fax the